All right, what's going on, everyone? Happy Monday morning, coming to you live from Austin. It's another beautiful sunny day here. Got my Chiefs mug. I'm switching to tea. I got to tell you, I do this like every once in a while where I move off of coffee, move to tea, and then come back. It's just like a healthier, I don't know, like a healthier mix. So what's going on, everyone? Big thank you for joining. If you're on LinkedIn Live, if you're on Zoom, candidly today, you can stay on either one. Since it's just me, I mean, it's not just me, right? You get like a whole lot of me whenever you get this. But, my kind of suggestion is this: if you're on Zoom, drop your questions in the Q&A. I can actually bring a few of you live. So I'd love to be able to bring some people live for some Q&A. If you're on LinkedIn, just make sure to hit the like or the whatever button that you want to hit there. And I'll do my best to get to your questions. Kara will obviously be dropping in the links as well. Anything around, if you want to join over to the Zoom, if you want to ask your question live. So I've got a shit ton of questions already. Graham, may the 4th be with you as well too. It's a Star Wars reference. It's very clever. So let's just hop into some of the Q&A that I got from before. I want to say a big shout out to everyone attending on Zoom. If you do not have the link for the Harris on next week, if you all know Richard Harris, Richard and I have some very fun conversations. And so if you want to hear two people who like each other but will argue incessantly, but not like in a naggy way, then make sure to sign up for the Zoom link. Kara's going to drop that for all of you who are on LinkedIn. So as I hop into this again, drop your questions in the Q&A. What I want to talk today is about modern outbound and how we're seeing sequencing today. I want to talk about LinkedIn, and I want to talk about sales and the buyer journey. So any questions that you have, thank you, Andrea, Ashley, Chris, Jacob, Jason, Megan, Sarah, Tony. Thank you for all hopping in. I really, really appreciate you. So, all right, let's hop into it. So first question I've got here is from, let's see if I have the from. I don't know. I don't always get the from. Sometimes I get the from. Sometimes I don't. All right. So first question I've got here is how to use LinkedIn. This is from Gerard Mitchell. If you guys don't know Gerard, I mean, you should know Gerard. So he's great. And actually, Kara, yeah, I changed my mind. Go ahead and drop the questions that I'm going to answer into the comments. So then that way people can see the questions as well too. So this is how to use LinkedIn for inbound with Sales Navigator. I'm asking because in my region, the Caribbean, yes, people are on the platform, but not everyone has their profile updated. Not many C-level executives are active. So I think this is actually a very important question for a lot of you. So Gerard, if you're listening, I mean, you're always listening. So I'm just going to trust that you're in there. That make sure that the number one thing that you should do is you need to be where your audience lives. And so if your audience isn't on LinkedIn, then don't use it. I mean, I got to be candid. Like if I was selling into a market where, my audience was on Instagram, I would only be on Instagram. I would only be on Instagram doing more inspirational, videos. I do a lot of that as is, but I think a lot of this is go where your audience is. And then the other thing is that maybe instead it's just you're running a very small part of your outreach or your new business via LinkedIn. So a lot of the modern sequences that we're running, if you're going to take notes, this is the part where I take notes, is a lot of the sequences we're running, the first 5 to 6 touch points are LinkedIn. But if the person isn't active on LinkedIn, you just skip all those steps. So let's say it's step 1 is research and connect on LinkedIn. Step 2 is day 3, comment or like one of their posts. Day 4 is comment and share one of their company posts. Day 5 is DM, or day 7, whatever that is. If they're not on LinkedIn, don't use LinkedIn. Go to Instagram. And then maybe you build a sequence where it goes LinkedIn, then Instagram. I don't know. You can do whatever you want. But that's my answer for that, is that make sure you do your research. Do your research to make sure that your audience is actually active on LinkedIn. So that's my best advice there, is make sure that you do that. All right, LinkedIn, do me a favor. A lot of your people, it's noon for some of you in Eastern. It's really early morning. So do me a favor, tag in your favorite teammate if you're on LinkedIn. Get over here. Jake's going ham. He's answering a bunch of questions. It's Monday. I mean, come on. Are we really working that hard right now as is? Of course you are. All right. Grayson Fulbright. What's up, Grayson? Grayson asks live. So again, I'm going to give precedent to anyone who drops their questions live over the people that just drop their questions from the weekend. So Grayson, any tips on outbound customer discovery in today's times? Curious how pre-revenue stage environments have changed in your mind. So, okay, so he's talking about how do you do discovery. So when you think about discovery is how you learn about individuals, how you learn about companies, etc. So when you think about this, no, you can't play Sonic Dash. That's all my son wants to do. He only wants to play Sonic Dash 24/7. No, you can't play Sonic Dash. All right, bye. Maybe in like an hour. I'll think about it. Listen, he's trying to negotiate. No, I'll come down in an hour. Bye. 11:29. 12 o'clock. Bye. All right. I don't know what the kid's obsessed with Sonic Dash. It's like that's the game I played on Sega Genesis. If you guys don't remember Sega Genesis, shout out to all my Sega fans out there. All right. So pre-discovery. Yeah, I've got a couple of tips here about pre-discovery and how to use LinkedIn for the discovery process. So a couple of quick tips and advice. One is make sure you scroll down. And what I do always is I look at how the person talks about themselves. I look at, do they use very, very, very specific language? Do they use very, 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 do they talk really technical? Do they talk really professional? Are they less professional? And so when I do any type of pre-sales discovery, I'm always thinking about, Monica, I'm glad that you thought that Landon jumping in is cute. I appreciate that. So anytime that you're doing any type of pre-sales discovery, always think about who the person is first and then who the company is. I think too many people spend time in prep thinking about, what do you call it? They think about the company. Oh, John is a VP of operations. John is a blah. John is an X. I only think about the person. I look at how they're writing. And then I click on the people who have also viewed. That's the other big tip that I've got for you, Grayson. When I'm doing my prep, I say, who else are people comparing this person to? So that's how I would think about that piece, is that you've got the group of individuals where you've got this person, how they talk about themselves, then go look at who people are comparing them to. So those are just a couple of quick ways that I do it. So anytime you're thinking about that prep, let me know on that. Grayson follows up, I'm more focused on Steve Blank style discovery for startups. I mean, what he's referring to, I believe, is 4 Steps to the Epiphany, which, by the way, is an amazing book. If you haven't read 4 Steps to the Epiphany, it's a great book by Stephen Blank. It's a classic. And there's 2 different types of ways that you build a company. And candidly, it's kind of the same way that you do outbound or anything else. There's the product development model, which is where you build a bunch of stuff and build. And then you kind of release it to the market. There's a customer discovery model where you build an MVP, you iterate, and then that's kind of how you go to market. So I'm a big fan of the customer discovery model, and that's the same thing when you're building your outbound sequences. When you're building your outbound sequences or your outbound cadences, you should really be thinking about how you basically take to market the product and then just build out an MVP, not this thing that you think is the most perfect cadence or sequence of all time, and then test and iterate. So that, I hope that helps. I think I kind of answered your question, Grayson. If not, I'm sorry. It's the best that I could do with the information that I had. So again, everyone, appreciate you joining. It's Monday. If you didn't know, I said in the beginning, I've switched to tea. I don't know why necessarily. Sometimes I feel like with coffee, I just like the taste. It doesn't actually do anything. Does anyone else feel that way? Give it a shout out. If you're like, you know what, I like coffee, but it doesn't give me the same rush, and now I'm just doing it. Every time I switch to tea, it then kind of like, when I do go back to coffee after like 3 or 4 months, it like reinvigorates my coffee high. So Grayson, of course I know 4 Steps, man. It's a classic. It's a must read for anyone in startup world. All right, so next question. Again, if you're on the Zoom, what's up all my folks on the Zoom? Tony Cortardo, what's going on, man? Appreciate you. Drop your questions in the Q&A. Again, if you're on LinkedIn Live, love it that you tuned in live. Again, tag in your coworkers. Say, hey, Johnny, it's lunchtime. Jake's on here. He's going crazy. Answer some questions. All right, next up question from Joshua Joe, double first name, Joshua. This is from LinkedIn from Friday. Hey, Jake, what is your opinion on making initial contact with people via a video DM rather than simple text? Do you think it is more effective one than the other? The answer is yes. Guys, there's absolutely no reason if you are a first degree connection with someone that you shouldn't be sending them a voicemail. If I had my phone, you could see it. I'll walk through this. I've said it 800 times, but I'm going to say it for the 801st time because maybe this will be the time that you guys do something about it. If you are a first degree connection with someone and you pop open a message, in that message, there's a little voicemail. If any of you DM me, there's a chance I might have dropped you a voicemail at some time. So DM me, I'll show you how the feature works, etc. There's a little microphone. You click and you can send a voicemail, personalized voicemail. Or there's a plus button. So if you pull out your phones, you click message, you click you're gonna message me, there's a little plus button on the mobile app. And then there's a little video icon. You can send a personalized video. So my friends, that's all I would be doing to first degree connections. If you are a first degree connection with someone, why would you waste your time sending a text only post? Take the time, send the video, send the voicemail. I am telling you, my man, Morgan Ingram, he and I have talked about this 850 times. And I cannot comprehend why more people aren't doing it. Even if you're a little camera shy, go ahead and just focus on the voicemail. So that's it. Tony Graham, appreciate you. All right, next question up. Actually, hold on. Let me just go over. Let me check out my LinkedIn. I've only got one screen I'm working on right now. So I got to just double check. All right. Let's see where we're at. Got to make sure the feed catches up. It takes forever. I'm a coffee drinker. I know tea is better for you. Jeremy, I feel you. Right? Tara is representing the Blue Jays. I got no problem with the Blue Jays. Tara, I tell you what. You know what I want you to do? Tara Kudova. Tara, I want you to DM me. If you are a Blue Jays fan, I went to the Blue Jays stadium. I've been to all 30 baseball stadiums. I've been to every single baseball stadium. I'm a big baseball fan as well too. Tara, when I went to the Blue Jays stadiums, they were celebrating the anniversary of your last World Series win. I got to see Joe Carter, Tony Fernandez, like everybody. And I got like way too many of this like very commemorative bobblehead. It's Roberto Alomar, John Olerud, and Paul Molitor. You DM me on LinkedIn, bobblehead for you. I've got like 3 of these things that are sitting in my kids' rooms. Tara, if you're a Blue Jays fan, it's an amazing bobblehead. I've got it for you. It's happening, right? Oh, Joshua Joe calling out the tea with Jake Dunlap. No, this is not a Gary. I'm a big Gary fan, but I'm not going to call out tea with Jake D, although I have thought about it in case you haven't thought that I have thought about it. All right, y'all. And again, if you like something you hear, just drop a thumbs up, drop a like. All right, Ryan Staley, next question. What are the best inbound and DM strategies being used in the market successful with metrics in terms of success rates, conversions, etc.? All right, so I'm going to tell you a couple of strategies that we have data around and a couple of strategies that we don't. I know for me, I'm a big data fan, right? And I also trust my gut. My gut anecdotally tells me, Jake, like you're pretty close. So like, yeah, this is going to be right. And by the way, all of you should be the exact same way. All of you should be focused on a little bit of gut and a lot of data. It's both. It's not one or the other. So the first thing I'm going to focus on with data is connection requests. All right. I have done the data myself, and I cannot tell you how many DMs I've got that prove that it is better to send a blind connection request than to overly type personalized connection requests with the first attempt. Let me tell you what I mean by that. If I line up a list in Sales Navigator, I can connect with 82 people in 12 minutes. 82 people, 12 minutes. Look, I'm a CEO. I've got a really good headline. I think it's a good headshot too. You know what? I updated my headshot on LinkedIn. Let me know what you think. I'd love to know. It's a little bit more personable. It's from this little like graffiti wall in Austin. So let me know if you like the new profile pic. But anyway, my acceptance rate is a little over 60%. Blind, no request, no anything. So for all of you, if you have a good subject line, a good header line, and a good headshot, you should be getting 40 to 60%, no problem. Then you go back, and for the 40% of people that didn't connect with you, unconnect request, then you write the personalized message for the ones you want, and then you connect request. I cannot tell you how many DMs from people, like lots, a lot, where they're like, Jake, I didn't believe you. I tried it. Holy shit, it worked. So that's the first data point. Graham says too much makeup in a LinkedIn pic. I wasn't wearing makeup, man. I don't think I was. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know, Graham. It's a good call, but I don't think I was wearing makeup. All right. So that's it. That's my first data point. Blind connect request on LinkedIn. Don't waste your time doing the personalized thing off the jump. There's just no point to it. Okay. Then the next thing up would be around, I got just a couple of different plays, like Morgan Ingram. I think Morgan has the details. Morgan, I want to say it was like 30%. Again, DM Morgan J. Ingram if you want the exact stats. Morgan has tested the voicemail and video stats. And all I know, he has the exact stats, Ryan Staley. But I know that he has said it is a substantial uptick. I want to say like 40+% in responses. So that's it. Tara's getting that bobblehead. I know she's pumped. All right, so that's it. So that's really all I've got stats around. That's it. Joshua Joe, go Astros. Joshua, I don't have any Astros gear, even though I'm in, what do you call it? I'm really close to you. I'm in Austin. All right. All right, Sarah Cortez. Oh, God, Sarah's a Yankees fan, so we should probably just skip her question. As a Kansas City Royals fan, I just can't get behind anything the Yankees do. It's more than I'm jealous because you have more money than we do. I'm looking to speak at more sales conferences once the quarantine is lifted. What are your favorite sales conferences? So here's what I would say, Sarah. I think it's the quarantine is going to be lifted, but we're not going to have conferences for a long time. We are not going to have face-to-face big conferences for, my guess, 5 to 6 months. I think it's probably pretty fair. I think we'll start to go back. You'll see some dinners, right? We'll have a little dinner here, a little dinner there. But if you're thinking about events, then that's how I would think about events. And so what my biggest advice to anyone who wants to get into public speaking, anyone who wants to get into, putting yourself out there, sharing more, is this is the platform to do it. Sarah, what I want you to do instead is I want you to start to do a Zoom meeting a week that you host on one favorite topic. Do a topic that you're passionate about, your business development rep, alliance title, what's something that you're passionate about. So then you can build up an audience. So then when you do speak in person, you're going to have a bigger audience. You're going to have more reps. You're going to feel more comfortable, etc. So Sarah, I wouldn't plan on it for a long time. So start to get the reps. Make sure you're posting every day on LinkedIn. Start to send out some videos. All those things are going to help to make you wildly, wildly, wildly successful. All right. So a couple more questions here. Megan Pulliam. Megan, please tell me if I got that right or not right. Do you change your messaging in that LinkedIn voicemail video versus what you do in email? Kind of. Not really, though. I mean, your voicemail should be very similar. It's like, hey, Ashley, I've really appreciated the conversation. I enjoyed this post. I enjoyed this post. It's maybe a little more personalized up front now that I think about it. And then you go into, what I like is after you send a voicemail, maybe send them a text, like a text message underneath it. Like, hey, John, just shot you a voicemail. Take a quick listen. Let me know if it makes sense, and I'll email you to set up time. So yes, I think you can go more personalized on the voicemail or video. And then go ahead, in case you're like me, maybe you don't want to listen to the voicemail all the time, type a little text just helping me to understand what it is. So Megan Pulliam, I hope that is helpful for you. What's up, everyone on LinkedIn? We've got almost, 40 people now joining us live. Again, I'm not seeing you tag in your team. Tag your team. I'm telling you, they're sitting there. They're eating a turkey sandwich at home. Their kids are just clinging all over them. All they want to do is hear me go off and answer questions. All right. So next question up from Monica. I'm trying to help out a client with cold calling. 70% of their clients are off LinkedIn. Makes sense. Probably 50% off social media. The only obvious option I have is cold calling. Any tips on that? First thing I'll say is this. I like cold calling, right? And I think that a lot of people, when you think modern, you can't say modern and calling in the same sentence, but that's just not right. You absolutely can. And so Monica, like I said before, I would have, if 70% of their clients are off LinkedIn, that means 30% are, right? You have 30% of the people are. So why not start every one of your outreach points around LinkedIn? And then for those 70%, skip ahead. So that's the first things first. And then what I would be doing is making sure I would be using a mix of, and again, I don't know where you're based. I know in the EU, obviously, it's a little more, what do you call it, strict around emails. So what I would be doing with my cold calls in the first few stages is I would be trying to get email addresses, right? So I would be calling into like the main number and I'd be like, hey, Glenda, this is Jake Dunlap. I've talked to a few people. Can you tell me what Tom Henderson's is Tom's email address tom@henderson@whatever? Okay, great. Does he prefer that I email information? Okay, I'll email him something over. So I think for me, I would try to balance out trying to get email addresses so you can do calls and emails. When it comes to cold calling, I'm going to give you a very quick kind of go-to script. Okay, very, very quick go-to script that I think for all of you that I've just seen work across industries. Okay, the first is the opening. So it's, hey, Megan, this is Jake Dunlap with Scaled. I've talked to a couple different people at XYZ, and from what I can understand, you, Megan, you handle blah, blah, blah at this organization. Is that right? Yes, Jake, that's me. No, that's not me. Blah, 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 whatever it is, okay? Let's assume that they said yes. What I'm looking for is yes, yes, close for the cold call meeting. Yes, this is me. Okay, great. Well, look, I work, and I know that a lot of account executives, especially when you're working at an organization like Upwork, are really trying to focus on how do I cut through the noise. The economy is also really, really difficult right now with people looking to hire. But also what that could mean is that could mean an opportunity for you as people are looking for more freelance. Is that something that you're focused on right now, Megan? Yes, Jake, it is. Amazing. At Scaled, what we do is boom, and then I go into it and I ask for the meeting. But what I want you to hear is that I know what Megan does. She's an account executive at Upwork. And so here's my biggest cold call advice. If you don't know who the person you're reaching out, if you don't know what that person does for a job, and if you don't know what their company does, it's gonna be tough to set meetings. So again, make sure you do your prep. I did an awesome post on this. I think it was an awesome post on this on, Kara, when did I do the preparation post? Is that over the weekend? I think it was either Friday or Saturday. Go check out the preparation post. But I'm really big on, if you don't know how someone makes money and if you're not doing your prep ahead of calls, you're not going to get meetings. So that's that. Again, keep your questions coming. Loving this. Ashley Corlett. What's going on, Ashley? Ashley's got a question. How do you turn a valuable conversation on LinkedIn into a business discussion? Ashley, the answer is patience. How you turn a LinkedIn conversation into a meeting is patience. It is waiting for them to post a couple of times so you can comment and then maybe build a little relationship capital. It's waiting until one of their posts or something that you've put together is relevant to them. Not some high-level bullshit relevant, but actually relevant to them, okay? So it's that point where it's something I've interacted with their content a couple of different times, and I've got a really strong reason for reaching out, or I have got a reason from my own side that I feel like is top of mind right now. So I've built that. So my point is just wait, interact, like the same post they like a couple of their comments, comment on their post at least for like a week and a half, and then go forward with a DM. So again, if you want to have a valuable conversation with someone, make sure it's relevant. If you don't know what I'm going through as a CEO at Scaled, then what I would do, and let's say I'm somebody you want to get a meeting with, I would reach out to, companies like Scaled. I'd reach out to their CEO and say, hey, I'm doing market research. I'm trying to understand how blah, blah, blah. Is any of these things top of mind for you? And that's what I would say. So that's my hot take there. All right, everyone. So keep the questions coming. Again, if you're on LinkedIn, make sure to hit the like button. That helps it to be seen by a few more people. They're out there. All right, so we've got some more questions. They're starting to roll in. Appreciate you. Appreciate everyone from hopping in. Jack, appreciate it. Good stuff, Jake. Thank you. That's what I hope to do, man. I hope to drop knowledge here. All right, anonymous attendee. If you offer different kinds of services, mentoring, speaking, engagements, but as a side hustle, which places on the LinkedIn profile do you recommend to showcase them? I've seen the about, the media experience for people that do it full time. Here's what's up. First of all, this depends on your company. A lot of companies aren't going to have a problem that you have a side hustle. So putting it in as your, a job that you have isn't going to be that big of a deal. Now, let's say if your company does have a problem with it, then I would have a component. I would think about how to work it into my summary section, to where my summary section kind of highlighted what I do as a professional, and then because of that, what I do as an individual. So that would be my advice there, is that in your summary section in particular, I think what you're referring to, the about, 100%. Then the same thing with the media. I would have it mixed in. It would be like work, work, side hustle, work, work, side hustle, work, work, etc. So I think more companies are open to it, as long as it's not like directly competing against what you're doing. You know, like you're not working for a mentoring or speaking company. Then it's just kind of shady, right? So don't do that. All right, here we go. I know it's the eternal debate, but should I change my connect to follow on LinkedIn? I thought that it'd be a good way of limiting the number of requests of people that just connect to accumulate connections, but don't know if it's a good strategy. I have around 2K connections. The answer is absolutely not. Do not limit your connection requests, because here's what's up. Like, I have over 30,000 connections, right? We kind of phase out old ones over time, but I hate that I can't have connect on there anymore. And it's just because like it's an easier like click than thinking about, do I really want to follow this person or do I want to be connected to this person? So my biggest advice, I would not change your button to a follow button until you get to like 20,000 plus connections. So only reason to do it is you don't want to go over that 30,000 threshold, and then you want to be more targeted. So that's my advice. Do not change to a follow unless you absolutely have to. All right, next up. And again, LinkedIn, what's going on LinkedIn? There's almost 40 of you. I need some more questions from the LinkedIn folks. The Zoom people are over here kicking your ass. They've got, I mean, there's a little less than 20 people in Zoom, and they're just flying off the questions here. So let's go to the next one up. So some advice for pricing your services. One-to-one consulting and presentations with real examples if you're a beginner. I know it's a bird question. I don't know what that means, by the way. Does anyone know what a bird question means? So if you do know what a bird question means, it's probably, yeah, it's probably not. I don't know what it is. Let's see here. Oh, what's bumping in the background? I didn't even know there was music in the background. I love that there is. Let's see, the first one. The first one starts at 50 to 70 an hour, 203 an hour for company presentations, etc. So here's the thing, what I love about this question is that it's about pricing. And what I would say is that 98% of people go too cheap, too fast. And so my biggest piece of advice is start higher. Let the market tell you it's too expensive versus everybody telling you it's too cheap. Like what I'll tell you is like, I know for a fact that if we are in the process of like, if we're charging, if everybody is saying yes with no objections, then I know that we're not charging enough. I don't know, bro. He just came in and says, what's this big battery for? I have no idea what the big battery is for. All right, so that's it. To charge more. So if you think you should start at 50 to 70, start at 100. If you think you should start at 200, 300, start at 500. And then let the market tell you what to do. Let the market tell you what it should look like. Yeah, I hear a tapping. Interesting. All right, tell me if you guys still hear some type of noise in the background. I don't hear any tapping right now. So if you hear it, let me know. All right, it's getting louder. Great value. Is LinkedIn Premium worth it when looking for a job? Yes, Greg, France. There we go, my LinkedIn folks showing up. Yes, Greg, it is worth it. It allows you to do some more advanced, what do you call it? It allows you to do more advanced filtering, and you can do some additional searches, Greg. So that's what I would get at there. Yes, go ahead and pay for LinkedIn Premium. It's worth it, no brainer. You hear it tapping. You know what it probably was? I tend to fidget, and so I could have just been like tapping, tap, tap, taparoo. Okay, tapping is very loud now. As if I was tapping the mic. Dude, I don't know, man. I don't know what's happening then. I don't know how the tapping is getting louder now. So my LinkedIn friend said there's a tapping. Let me know if you guys can hear it on Zoom too. I can't hear shit. All right, so it's just on LinkedIn. I have no clue what's going on. Oh, I see it. Hold on. All right, hold on. I got an idea. All right, let's see if that's better for all my LinkedIn folks. It's weird. I could see it up here on the bar that it was doing something, but I have no clue what it was. So I'm hoping this is going to be better for everybody. So let me know if you're on. It's your fidgeting. Move the mic. Well, the mic's up here, so I don't even know how to move it. So I'll try. Anyway, it's not the bobblehead. It's happening right now, as if you're tapping the mic. The only other thing I can think of is that there's birds outside that are like shrilling or whatever it's called. Okay. Oh, that's better. Yes, gone. Okay. Again, I apologize. There's nothing more annoying than when someone's Zoom is messing up. It's like you can't help but hate them for it. Like, how many of you have been on Zoom calls and then you're like, oh no, John said it's back. Okay, it's got to be like me doing any movement. All right. But anyway, if you're on Zoom calls and it messes up the other person, like, and it's not even their fault, like you can't help but all of a sudden you're like, man, I don't know. All right, so I'm just going to do my best here, guys. I don't know why it's back. I'm just going to sit here like this and quiet. Okay, so why do some reps call on prospects twice per day per sequence versus once? Couldn't you reach a wider net if you just call the prospect once per day per sequence? Well, it depends on how bad you want to get in front of somebody. So what I mean by that is, if I think that there's going to be a better opportunity for me to maybe try them in the morning before the secretary gets in, and then maybe try them again later, I might try to do that. So that would be my advice there, is that I would really try to focus on and I would just A/B test it. So again, because if I call you, just imagine, Joseph, calling you one time during the day means that you've got to be available at that exact one time. And so and guess what, if for whatever reason you're always showing up in my morning part of my sequence, well, then there might be a likelihood that I never get in touch with you because you don't even get into the office until 11. So that's my advice, is that's why you want to try to call maybe once or twice per day at times. So that's my hot take. All right. Looks like we're good on LinkedIn, finally. All right, everyone, all my Zoom folks, I appreciate you. Again, if you are not signed up for the Zoom, make sure to join the Zoom next week. I'm going to be with Richard Harris. He and I, we see eye to eye on some things, but we also don't see eye to eye on other things. So it's a very fun conversation. It's good. It's more, I don't know, we'll get at it a little bit sometimes. All right. So which do you think, so this is another anonymous attendee from Zoom. Again, all my Zoom folks, I appreciate you. Which do you think is the best starting point for an undergrad thinking of starting a career in sales tech? For example, regarding courses, Sandler, Costigan method, I don't know that one, Salesforce certification, LinkedIn Sales Nav, etc. I'd love to hear from everyone on LinkedIn too, is what you guys think. If you were new to sales, what advice would you give this person if they're an undergrad thinking of starting a career in sales tech? For me, 100%, I would read everything. I would read everything. There's some great books. I've done a bunch of posts on this. I will drop my list of books. I'll have Kara drop my list of books in the comments and the chat, so you can have all the different books. Look, I think Sandler is an okay initial method. There's some old school shit that Sandler does that I don't think really works. Like the way that they position the wording around the upfront contract. I'm not a big fan of the positioning, but the concept is right. And so I think any method that you're going to read is going to be better than someone who didn't read. And so that you can learn from everybody. You can learn from every methodology. I would definitely read Challenger Sale. I would take the courses. I would invest in myself. You're going to learn from everybody and everything. I definitely would start to do some type of, even if it's trailhead stuff on Salesforce. And definitely I would be willing to pay in advance to learn Sales Navigator. So my big advice for you, if you're starting, is yes, go and try all these different courses because you're going to be able to take from a lot of people. That's a no-brainer. Two, yes, I would go and start to focus on learning Salesforce. I would go focus on starting to learn LinkedIn Sales Navigator. And I'd probably email and say, hey, I'm a student. Can I get a free license, please? And I'd probably start there. But yes, understanding how to manipulate sales technology is absolutely, absolutely critical. All right, next question up from Megan Williamson. And so here's where we're at. We're at 30 minutes after. I'm going to go for about another 10 minutes. I'm going to go till about 11:45 Central. Keep the questions coming. Keep going at it, etc. All right, so best way to create value as a target industries changed. So what is this is from our own Scaled, Ben Pincus. What's up, Ben? Best way to create value as target industries change. Businesses allowed to open up or restrictions causing drastic change industry-wide. The key is this. You have to know what that means for your buyer, right? And so I think it's really difficult to give a one-size-fits-all, but just think about what these people are going through. Okay, what they're going through right now is they're going through kind of rapid changes. Every 2 or 3 weeks, there's a new thing that they need to adapt to, a new thing that they need to adjust to, right? So that means their days are very hectic, right? Their days are, changing, etc. So if you're going to try to introduce change, and I perceive that your product has a change management cost, I'm out. And I think a lot of people, more than ever, I feel like the last month, I've had more clueless salespeople and clueless CEOs, and I say that with all love, that they think that the answer is giving the product away for free or discounts. And they don't realize that people aren't buying or aren't moving forward because they got a bunch of shit on their plate. It's not even about the cost. They can afford the $3,000 a month. They're just not doing the $3,000 a month because they're thinking about the change management. And so I think for all of you, if I were an SDR, a salesperson, etc., I would sit down and I'd be like, all right, VP of operations. Okay, what are they going through? Well, they're doing this. Talk to your customers if you can. That's always the best way. But I would think about what they're going through and what these changes mean for them. So, and then that way you're going to be able to message to them specifically. Like, hey, John, I know that I'll pick up like Megan's here, Megan from Upwork. Hey, Sarah, I know right now you all might have had to make some cuts. And let's say I wasn't able to read that in the news. You might have had to make some cuts. A lot of my clients right now are starting to think about, they still have some needs that they need filled, but they're trying to be a little bit more cautious about it. A lot of people think of Upwork as blah, blah, blah. I think there might be a way to help if you're interested in just like augmenting some of the smaller work that you're doing before you hire back full times. So that's it. So again, Ben, to answer your question, I know that Megan's audience, they might be in HR, they might be in a business unit. And so they're probably just now starting to think about adding new headcount again. And so my friends, what you're seeing that I'm doing over and over again is I'm being very, very, very specific. And that is my number one advice for all of you, that if you're not being specific, you're not going to win. And so that goes back. Megan actually had a question here. Like I said, I'm going to take probably 3 more questions. 3 more questions. Ben was hoping that he would also get a bobblehead. Ben, I only have extra Tampa Bay, or not, sorry. I do have extra Tampa Bay Devil Rays stuff too. But I also have just Toronto Blue Jays stuff. So unless you're a Blue Jays fan, no, I do not have extra bobbleheads for you. So Megan asked a question here. Subject lines. Would you add the company's name or buzzwords or keep it short and simple? So yeah, we've done research around this. A classic subject line that we've heard, I'm going to type this into the comments, into the chat for all of you, is company / /scaled time to connect 513. So this is a very classic. I know that without fail, this bad boy, this little gem here, where's my chat? I'm gonna drop it in for all of you here. Pow. This little gem here is gonna get you at least a 30 to 40% open rate, I promise you. The other one that we've seen work is just company name dash time to connect. Either way, that's important. So here we go. Oh, awesome. Yes, thank you for dropping all my books in. Will you please drop all the books into the what do you call it? Into the Google Hangouts, or I'm sorry, not to the Hangouts. Gosh, if we had a Hangout run into, it'd just be way too much. Drop it into the LinkedIn Live. Okay. All right. So Megan Pulliam. Megan, you got to correct me in case I'm just butchering it. I'm always very self-conscious about this. That's kind of a follow-up on the change management question. Daniel Berrigan, what's up, man? Appreciate you joining as always. Daniel, what I love about Daniel is very selfish in these Ask Me Anythings. He must have just joined. And all of you, you should take this time to be selfish. Look, today, and just so you know, this is maybe some insight. Today is my strategy day. So every single month, well, I would like to think it was every single month. I try to do it every single month. I take a day off of work. I'm doing this. I've got 2 other like small little meetings, check-ins, but more other than that, I'm literally, and today I'm working on my personal mission statement. So that is where I'm focused, I'm focused on the personal mission statement and working on that. So if you're in there, if you're thinking about that, that's the important part. So let's see here. Yeah, I can see it. It's funny. I can like see it up here whenever it's like going crazy. You know what it might be? I've got an Adirondack chair out there that's like a rocker. So I'll make sure to note that for the next one. So the change management piece about why people aren't buying right now. The real reason that so many people aren't moving forward is that there's so much uncertainty in their world. And it's not that bullshit uncertainty that's like, Jake, it's uncertain times. It's like, what are they actually going through? And so Megan, to kind of ask a quick follow-up or, to do a follow-up on the change management question, the real solution is that you have to think about what they're going through, right? If you guys give me a job title, I can literally in probably about 5 seconds think through what that thing is going to be. And so that's what I want all of you to think about is, do you know what your buyers are going through now? If you don't know what your buyers are going through right now, it's going to be really, really difficult to get them over that change management hurdle because you don't know what the change management is. No, man, there's nothing by my desk. I mean, if you guys could see it, it's like, I even have like it mounted on a stand here. And so it's just like, my hands are up here. It's not spiking now. I can see it when it spikes. Okay, last question of the day. John, no, nothing's moving on my desk. I don't know what the hell it is, but I will fix it for next time. All right, let's see. Who do I want to go with here? Who's got it? All right, Borja. How do you think that these COVID-19 days are going to change the way salespeople communicate with customers and prospects, and maybe also the other way around? Okay, this is probably my favorite question. All the other questions are fantastic as well, too. But Borja, I love this one in particular. You're a LinkedIn campus editor for Spain. That's even cooler that you're out there like getting shit done while you're still in school. I was not as diligent as you. So the big things that are going to have to change, I think, for everybody. And so if you are in school, it doesn't really matter. If you're an old dog who's been in sales for 20 years, none of this shit really matters. It's the same advice. And I've beat that up really, really hard here. So I just want to try to think of maybe a different way to say it. What has made me very successful as a sales leader, salesperson, running a sales consulting company was the experience that I had early in my sales career. I sold into the job space. I worked at a company called Career Builder. We were broken out by regions, not verticals. And so my team sold into transportation. They sold into manufacturing. They sold into, you name it. You name it, we sold into it. And so over the course of my tenure there, I had to learn about all these different industries. But guess what? I became a student of it. I looked at it as fun. It was fun. I was curious. I'm like, I would ask the question, or I'd have my team ask the question, hey, what does a CNC machinist even do? What is a blah, blah, blah? What does a VP of operations even do at XYZ? And so don't be afraid to ask those stupid questions early in your career, because when you fast forward now, my ability, and I think of this is probably, if you have anyone who's talked to me as a CEO, who's one of our clients, or anyone on the team, I know a shit ton about what a lot of different people do. And it's only because I asked stupid questions early on, and I did a ton of prep early on. And so when you're joining a new company, if you're in your industry and you don't know what these people do, if you are not dedicating your whole life, every waking hour, to being able to help this group of people, you're going to be at a major deficit. And so that is what I think is going to change, that your buyers right now, that there are so many competitors, so many lookalikes, people that look like you, people that kind of look like your product. that you are going to have to differentiate by your ability to know their business more than anything. There's so many Me Too products out there that look the exact same. They sound the same. I'm telling you, I would go listen to my competition's value prop to go, oh my God, it sounds the exact same. And then just to see how can I differentiate. So for me as a salesperson, I think I'm still always focused on the same things that I was focused on before. I'm focused on how I can add value for them, but I can't do that if I don't know what they're going through. And so prepare, take the time, think through what that looks like. So that's what I think is going to change going forward, that it's going to be required. Over the last 4 years, we've been overly focused on efficiency and doing more and more and more and more things versus the quality of the things. So I think quality is going to be making a comeback. I think we're going to back away from just being focused on numbers, and start to focus on outcomes, right? And so that's a big thing for me. If I was in sales, that's what I'd be focused on. You know, am I in an industry that I like? And so I want to go deep on my buyer. And am I going deep on my buyer and what they actually care about? Nothing I'm saying is like super, super, super new, right? But what I feel like, if you ask me what's going to change, it's going to be that is required. So everyone, I appreciate you. If you're in marketing, we're doing our Wednesday wind down on Wednesday nights. It's at 6:30. It's only for marketers or for sales development people or anybody really interested in inbound and outbound. So make sure to tune in for that, right? Wednesday, 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern. I'm doing a sober week, just so you know. So I will be sipping on some water. I feel like with the quarantine, I was talking to my wife about this. I don't know how many of you feel about this. You know, cracking a White Claw, you know, it's like, well, hey, it's 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. What are we going to do? So we're doing a sober week. If you guys want to join us in the sober week, you're more than welcome to as well. I'm actually like quite excited about it. But on the Wednesday wind down, we're going to talk, I think this week is about like what comes next. So what are marketers thinking about? If you're thinking about outbound, join us for that. Again, every Monday at this exact time, I'm here either with somebody that I know, love, and respect, or just me sharing my insights into what's happening. So appreciate everyone. You can check out, you'll be able to find this on my YouTube channel. It's Jake Dunlap Sales, and really appreciate everyone tuning in. Have a great rest of your Monday. Stay tuned. I'm going to be doing a post about my personal mission statement as I'm working on that today. So take a look out for that. Have a good one.